I'm going to give you 3 daily habits that boost your health. And these are things that I think can really help on the carnivore diet, especially if you've been struggling a little bit with getting things on track. So let's go into them. And oh, by the way, at the end, if you stick around, I'm going to give you a fourth one, a bonus tip, if you will. All right, so the very first one I want to talk about is getting sleep, at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. And I know sometimes it seems like that can be a difficult task to do, but sleep is very, very important with fat loss and so forth, that you're getting the right amount of sleep. If you can get at least 8 hours, maybe even 9 hours, that is great. But 7 to 8 at least is what you want to get. If you're only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep and you're struggling right now to lose body fat, get in the shape that you want to get in, then that probably is at least a pretty big factor in it. So work to your sleep schedule to get a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. And a good way to do this is to try and go to bed around the same time every night. Try and make it, more of a common thing for you, something that you just automatically that's around the time you go to bed, and that's going to help you with falling asleep faster too and getting that good sound sleep. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep, that's probably the first daily habit that you should have for boosting your health. All right, the next one is to get daily activity in. When I mean with activity, it doesn't mean that you have to physically go to a gym and work out, lift weights, whatever. That obviously works as a daily activity, but just get moving, move around. Look at me. I sit at a computer all day for work. And then after that, I'm doing YouTube videos and so forth where I'm sitting at a computer again. So I'm sitting a lot. So for me, I need to make sure I'm getting up. I need to get up and take some breaks to go walk around or whatever it is I can do at different times during the day. Same thing when I'm doing the YouTube videos in the evening. I need to get up and do some breaks. If you can, try and get out if the weather's good, to take a nice walk, a 20-minute walk or something does wonders for you if you can do that every day. But get some kind of good activity. If you are struggling with, your your weight, the body fat that you might have, and you're hoping that carnivore is going to take care of that, but you're not seeing results, look at your activity. If you are mostly just sitting down throughout the day, not really getting out and moving around, or when you do go somewhere, you're walking pretty slowly, that probably is contributing to not having the success that you would like to see on the carnivore diet. So get moving. When you are moving, like I mentioned there about walking slowly, if you're not getting enough going, your heart rate going enough, and you're not walking fast enough, I'm not saying you have to speed race or anything like that, but just get a good pace walking in. That's going to help. If you're going too slow, you're probably not doing enough for your activity. So, activity every day, that is daily habit number 2 that's going to help boost your health. All right, now the third one here. This one, there's not a lot of people talking about this, but I will say Dr. Sean O'Mara is really talking about this, and there's a few other people. But it has to do with eating fermented foods with live and active cultures to boost your gut microbiome. All right, so here's the deal. If your gut is not healthy, you're going to have a hard time losing body fat. Um, it's just part of what happens. And you hear people say things like, you need to get healthy first before you lose weight. And maybe that's why some people struggle with losing weight. And there really is some truth to that. And your gut has a lot to do with it. If your gut is still not healthy and you need to get healthier, you're going to have a hard time with really losing that body fat. So get your gut health in order, and a good way to do that is from live and active cultures in fermented foods. So not just any fermented food. Make sure if you look at the ingredients that they have live and active cultures. Now here's something to consider. People will say, "Oh, well, you can't eat like sauerkraut or fermented carrots or whatever it is on the carnivore diet. Though those are vegetables. You can't have that." Well, Fermentation, that process takes the carbohydrate out of that vegetable. So, yes, it's possible, depending on how it was fermented, that only a little bit of the carb was taken out and that there's still some carbohydrate still in there. Um, you're better off staying away from some of the really starchier type of vegetables because they could potentially have a little bit more carbohydrate. But in most cases, the fermentation takes all or nearly all of the carbohydrate out of that. Okay. It takes out any plant toxins. So, like the oxalates and stuff like that, they are taken out with the fermentation process. So, eating a food that has been fermented, a vegetable that has been fermented, is not the same as just eating regular raw or cooked vegetables. So this is something you should consider. Now don't have to go with a vegetable. You can do things like that I like to do, like yogurt and cottage cheese. There's Good Culture Cottage Cheese is the brand that I like to get, and it's very good, very healthy for you. Has very few ingredients. It comes from cows that have been grass fed and so forth. You can get yogurt. There's some different yogurts. One of my favorite ones that I've been taking now that I've been eating is a goat yogurt, and it's a full fat as well. So it whole fat, I should say. So it's a pretty healthy one that I've been using. So those are some options. I do have a little bit of sauerkraut, and we'll have that every once in a while as well. Again, the fermentation process has taken out the carbohydrate and so forth. And especially if you ferment something on your own, you can make sure that you ferment long enough to completely take those carbohydrates out. So that's a good option. That's daily habit number 3, is to add some fermentation into your foods. It's not a lot. You can have a steak and then have a little bit of yogurt, maybe a little bit of cottage cheese, and a little bit of sauerkraut on the plate, and you dip your steak in to use it as like a condiment or something, right? And you just eat it that way. And it's just a little bit of each of those that you're getting. You're like 99.9% steak, and like 0.1% is the fermented foods in that meal. And that works. That's all you need to do. That's going to help with your gut. All right. So now those were the 3 daily habits to boost your health. But I mentioned I have a bonus tip. So here's the bonus. This I really think can help you in your health journey. And this is just watching other YouTube channels that are out there, right? All the various YouTube channels. And first of all, I think it's going to help with your motivation. It's going to help with accountability. And, if you consistently every day go out there and watch a couple of carnivore related YouTube channels, it's just going to help you out, help you to stay motivated and so forth. The other thing is you're going to learn things from those people. And, there's a ton of different YouTube channels out there that talk about different topics within carnivore or different experiences, their personal experiences, that kind of stuff, different foods you can eat and so forth, things to stay away from. So there's all kinds of YouTube channels out there that you can use. Now, if you want to see channels that maybe you have not already looked at, I do have something that has over 100 YouTube channels on it. It's a document, a database that has over 100 YouTube channels that are geared towards a proper human diet, pretty much carnivore. Maybe a few of them are more like ketovore-ish, but they're really up there around carnivore. And I'm going to have a link to that in the description of this video. And also, if you're having trouble finding that link, just hit me up in the comments and say, hey, I like that link, and I'll respond back, give you the link so that you can download that database. All right. So I hope that this video has helped you. And while you're at it, I've got plenty of other videos talking about many different topics. Go ahead, and I'm going to tell you right now, go ahead and check out this video right here next. It's a great video to really get you started, and I will see you in there.